Hello friends, welcome. Friend, yesterday I wrote an article with the following title which you can see in front of your screen. And this article was based on this article which got published in Money Control. So I'll open the link and show it to you, which says that the BSNL employee union seeks not to use Vodafone Idea's network for 4G launch. Now, friends, those who do not understand how the telecom industry works and what the status of telecom industry is might have got terribly confused with this headline. Why is BSNL requesting Vodafone Idea's network for launching its 4G services? And given the fact that the government of India has recently announced that they have spent huge amount of money on BSNL in lakhs of crores on budgetary support to empower the company to come out from the difficult situation that the company is facing. As you know that the BSNL subscriber base is dwindling day by day, and this is clearly visible in the following article because I have embedded a chart which shows that from December 22 till November 23 how the subscriber trend has how the subscriber trend has changed for the different operators. Like if you look at RGO has gained 33.7 million subscribers. Bharti has gained 13.7 million subscribers. Vodafone has lost 16.9 million subscribers, and BSNL has also lost 15.6 million subscribers. So both Vodafone Idea and BSNL are losing subscribers, whereas RGO and Bharti is gaining subscribers. And that is why the BSNL union has written a letter saying that their 4G rollout is going slow. And therefore, and there is a prediction that the official launch is going to happen only only in the end of this year, which is the calendar year of 2024 till December. So that's the prediction, and it might get delayed significantly, and you really don't know when they will finally going to launch. And if BSNL is not able to launch 4G services, then what happens is that they will lose additional subscribers. So if assume that BSNL is able to launch 4G services by end of December 2024, at this rate of subscriber reduction, which is basically till November 23, assume that they will lose another 16 million subscribers. So their subscriber count is going to go below 80 million. So they are currently at 113.7 million. So their subscriber count is going to go below 80 million, which is a significant loss, and their market share is basically going to remain as precariously low of around 6%, 6.7%. So what is the point in spending so much amount of money when BSNL is going to become a company without subscribers? So I really don't understand this, and I have been arguing from a very beginning that BSNL's revival package lacks teeth, and it is incomplete, and there are various reasons for that. Let me explain in this particular video that why I believe that there are a lot of holes in BSNL revival package, and the current suggestion by BSNL employees actually to me makes a lot of sense, and it should go beyond what they are suggesting, and that is the whole purpose of this note which I have written. So let me explain by going into the Spectrum app that I have created. Now this Spectrum app that I have created, it lays out the frequency map for various bands and color coded with the various operators holding certain spectrum in the band. So I will start with the 700 megahertz band, so you will get a picture. So this particular presentation will make your all your confusion will vanish, right? And you will be able to understand what the situation is and where the BSNL stands today, and where Vodafone Idea stands today, and how Vodafone Idea is going to gain significantly from the proposal in a tit for tat or kind of a swap proposal, which I am proposing on ground. In this, I actually have proposed this in this article, and I'm going to explain to you what I mean. Now, if you look at this band map of 700 megahertz band, you will find that 10 megahertz is occupied by government, 10 megahertz is basically occupied by Reliance, 10 megahertz of spectrum is occupied by Reliance Jio, 5 megahertz is vacant, which is likely to be given to Reliance based on, given to Railways based on a recent consultation paper which has just been published, and then 10 megahertz of spectrum is held by BSNL, right? So BSNL has got 10 megahertz spectrum in 700 megahertz band. Now, very strangely, BSNL is deploying 4G services in 700 megahertz band. And for your information, let me tell you that 700 megahertz band is a EPT band plan for the Asia Pacific region, and it is also being used, the same band plan is used in many of the African countries and the European countries. Now, this band is specifically for 5G. This is not a 4G band, and whatever 4G services were deployed worldwide is now slowly getting unwinded for releasing this spectrum for 5G. Now, given this situation, why would BSNL like to launch 4G services in 700 MHz band when the ecosystem of devices are dwindling day by day? So this is a question I am not able to understand. I have written about it multiple times. I have said this. I've been repeating this again and again. Why is BSNL launching 4G services in 700 MHz band when the device ecosystem is weak? Now, somebody may say, yes, there are devices available locally on ground which support 700 MHz 4G, but those devices are high-end devices. There are hardly any devices, virtually there are no devices on a price point of 4,000 rupees and below, which has got the capability of 4G in this band, which supports this band. Now, BSNL is always considered as a price sensitive, it is for price sensitive consumers who are not willing to afford high-end devices. Those consumers typically will afford devices in the range of 4,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees. So if BSNL wants to retain their subscribers or take new subscribers, why would they launch 4G services in 700 MHz band? I am not able to understand. I really fail to understand. My logic, all logic fails. So therefore, this band should be specifically used for 5G services. Now somebody may say, oh, by the way, it doesn't matter. BSNL will deploy 4G services. It doesn't work. We will approach 4G services and we'll deploy 5G services. Now, if that is so, the difficulty is that spending that amount of money and uprooting those base stations and replacing those base stations with 5G, again with devices which are going to be of highly priced devices, because 5G devices prices are not going to come down very soon, right? It may take 2 years, 3 years to come to the 4G level, because 4G has taken a lot of time for the devices to reach this price level. So then what is the point in even launching 5G services? That's the question that you should ask, right? When devices prices are going to be much above the purchase power capability of BSNL kind of subscribers who are going to launch it, because BSNL has subscriber base typically in rural areas and in urban areas, and mostly those people will be price sensitive. We know that, right? So it also does not make any sense. Then why BSNL is holding 700 megahertz band? That is the question that you should be asking. Why not 800 megahertz band? This is the band which I have been talking about from the long time. 800 megahertz, you find that there are spectrum which are being held by Reliance Jio. Then there are some spectrum which is held by RCom, which is still under NCLT, right? Because there is a company which is bankrupt. And then there are some spots which are Bharti, etc. But these pink spot, they are all free. Now 800 megahertz spectrum actually has got a huge ecosystem, because it is being used for 4G services from the very beginning, starting 2016 when Reliance launched 4G services in nationwide. So we are already more than 7 years 800 megahertz band is used for 4G. So device ecosystem is pretty strong. So BSNL could have leveraged this. So you have got 10 megahertz spectrum in AP, then you have got 10 megahertz spectrum in Bihar, then you have got around 6.25 megahertz spectrum in Delhi. So you will find that in most of the circle, at least 5 megahertz of spectrum is available, which is sufficient for 4G. You don't require 10 megahertz spectrum, right? So you could have used this band for 4G, right? So I don't know why government is keeping this spectrum free, and it was put out for auction in 2022. Nobody took this spectrum, and I don't think anybody will take any of this spectrum, because this is for 4G spectrum, and 4G is slowly operators are focusing their energy in 5G, and why would the operators basically spend more energy and money on 4G? Because the spectrum is not cheap, right? So that's this point. Now, given this situation, then what do you think the BSNL should do? Now, let's look at what the situation of Vodafone Idea is. Now, Vodafone Idea's spectrum is in three important bands for 4G. One is the 900 megahertz spectrum band, which I am showing to you right now. So this blue color you see, this blue color is all Vodafone spectrum. So if you compare Vodafone spectrum with Bharti, which is green, you will find that Vodafone has huge amount of spectrum in 900 megahertz band compared to Bharti. And this is BSNL, by the way, this one. So this they are using for 2G services. Now, Vodafone has spectrum in 900 megahertz band in some of the important circles. For example, in Mumbai, 11 megahertz of spectrum. Maharashtra, 14 megahertz of spectrum. Then in Kerala, 12.4 megahertz of spectrum. Haryana, 12.2 megahertz of spectrum. Gujarat, 11 megahertz of spectrum. Delhi, 10 megahertz of spectrum. So they are using this band for 4G, and this is also a mature band. This band has been used for 4G for such a long period of time, and there will be affordable devices in this particular spectrum band. Now, given that Vodafone Idea is also losing subscribers, a certain portion of this particular band will be definitely free, because Vodafone Idea also has huge amount of spectrum in 1800 megahertz band. I'm going to show you right now. If you look at this band, 1800 megahertz band. So 1800 megahertz, you will find that Vodafone Idea has got huge amount of spectrum. See, look, 20.8 megahertz in Gujarat, Haryana 15.8 megahertz, J&K 17 megahertz, Maharashtra 12.4, MP 18.6 megahertz, Assam 25 megahertz. And then we have got UP West 15 megahertz, West Bengal 23.4 megahertz. So this spectrum is also 4G spectrum. It can also be used for 2G. So they have got lot of capacity, right? In both 1800 as well as in 900 megahertz spectrum. So why can't this particular block of spectrum be used by BSNL? What prevents? There could be a commercial arrangement. You don't give spectrum free, right? You basically launch your 4G subscribers using Vodafone Idea spectrum, and BSNL so stop spending infrastructure money, wasting government of India's cash, the taxpayers' cash on their 4G deployment, because that 4G deployment will take huge amount of time. It will be complete waste, as I explained to you, because nobody is going to deploy 4G. Nobody is going to use the 700 megahertz band for 4G in near term or in future, because they are going to convert it into 5G. So that is what it makes absolute logical sense, and there is no need to integrate both the networks. Let the network of Vodafone Idea be completely separate, and let the BSNL network be separate. Now, if in situations, in pockets where Vodafone Idea's 4G is not available and the consumer wants to shift to 2G network, they can latch onto BSNL's 2G network. It will be a hard handoff. It will be not as seamless, but there will be no problem, which I am envisaging, because the 900 megahertz band where 4G has been deployed by Vodafone Idea is a low frequency band. It has got similar coverage as BSNL's 900 megahertz 2G. So therefore, when a customer is latching on to 4G network of Vodafone, they won't require the 2G network of BSNL at all, because this is going to have a carpet to carpet coverage as the BSNL network is today. Right? So there is no problem as far as even handoff issues are concerned. Consumer can continue to remain in Vodafone Idea's network till the time they want to use their services, right? So that's a huge advantage. Now the question somebody will ask is, what is it for Vodafone Idea? Why should Vodafone Idea even get into an arrangement with BSNL? Now Vodafone Idea will also have a huge advantage, let me tell you this. The reason is that, as you know, that Vodafone Idea is also having a lot of problems in investing in 5G network. Though Vodafone Idea has taken spectrum in 5G, let me show it to you. In 3500 megahertz band, Vodafone Idea recently bought 5G spectrum. So this is the band. You look, this blue spot, they have got 50 megahertz spectrum in Delhi, and then in Gujarat they have got 50, in Haryana they have 50, AP they have 50. They have got slices of spectrum for 5G in 3500 megahertz band, where both Bharti as well as for Jio has launched 5G. And Jio also has launched 5G, by the way, 700, as I showed you, that 700, they have 10 megahertz spectrum. Now, BSNL has got 70 megahertz of spectrum, right, which the government of India has given to BSNL, which they keep on saying that so much of money has been spent on BSNL. This is the spectrum which government of India has given to BSNL. So BSNL can use this spectrum for 5G. Now, somebody may say, if BSNL has 3500 megahertz spectrum, they will deploy 5G here. They don't require 700 megahertz for 5G, right? That is the natural question they will ask. No, because this band of 3500 megahertz band doesn't have a good coverage. You cannot deploy a carpet to carpet network, right, using 3500 megahertz spectrum, as has been already demonstrated, because what Bharti is doing is, though they have deployed 5G in 3500 megahertz spectrum, they are taking help of 1800 megahertz spectrum as well as the 900 megahertz spectrum, so that the consumer, if they don't get the coverage of the 3500 megahertz spectrum and they are out of the coverage, they can latch into the 900 megahertz spectrum or the 1800 megahertz spectrum, so that the underlying 4G network is supporting their 5G deployment. So what BSNL can do is, BSNL will not require this. They don't require 4G to support their network, right? The consumer to basically have a seamless connectivity. What BSNL will do, they deploy 5G here, and they will take the help of the 700 megahertz spectrum, which Reliance Jio is doing today, which is also they are doing the same thing. They are not taking help of 4G network to support their 5G customer. They have a organically deployed native network, which they call standalone 5G network, which they are using 700 megahertz and 3500 megahertz. Similarly, BSNL will also do the same thing. They will use 700 and 3500 megahertz, and they will start deploying 5G network from scratch today, rather than wasting their money in 4G network. They have got 10 megahertz of spectrum, 2 into 10 megahertz in 700, and they have got 70 megahertz in 3500, which is huge amount of spectrum. And Vodafone Idea can latch on to BSNL spectrum, BSNL 5G network, and start offering their subscribers 5G services, whoever wants them. And that service will also be, carpet to carpet, because as BSNL expand their network, their coverage will become carpet to carpet, because 700 megahertz will have a better coverage and it will be having a coverage similar to their 4G network. So both can get benefited. Vodafone Idea doesn't have to waste their money, and DOT doesn't have to come after Vodafone Idea, because they are in survival mode right now. Why would they spend on 5G? Why should they? This is the best way to solve this particular problem which the government of India has. You fund BSNL, you are anyway funding, but you are deploying, you are pushing them to deploy a 4G network which is going to become completely useless for BSNL. It is completely useless, because that is going to kill the 700 megahertz band, because you can't really deploy 5G on top of 4G. You have to first take the 4G network out and then start deploying 5G, because both the frames are different. They can't work together. So BSNL, having spent money on 4G, then after 2 years unwind the complete network, waste the taxpayer money, and then start deploying 5G network. What a waste of money. Yeah. I feel so pained by all this nonsense which is going on. I really feel disgusted. This is not the way. This is not the way to spend public money, right? So BSNL should deploy 5G network immediately, right? Vodafone Idea should latch on to BSNL's network. There is no need to do any network integration. Let the network be separate, because network integration is going to be very costly. It's a costly affair which Vodafone has experienced. Both Vodafone Idea has experienced when they converge their two networks. There is no need to do any network integration. Let the networks be independent and let them share each other's service. Let there be a commercial arrangement. In that way, Vodafone Idea survives. BSNL becomes more empowered. They may not become as empowered as their competitors like Bharti and Reliance Jio, but never mind. Let them be. Let them contribute. Let the resources of the nation be properly used, be optimally used. Why waste national resources? This is a mad thing which is going on. We have like 2 lakh crores of debt, Vodafone Idea, which is going to come due for payment in the middle of 2025. At that time, Vodafone Idea will not be able to pay the debt. The company will become, again, the government will hold shares in Vodafone Idea. They already have 33% stake, and they will have to convert. Otherwise, Vodafone Idea will not survive. How do you expect Vodafone Idea to make investment in 5G? If we are expecting something which is so illogical to happen, we are living in fool's paradise. We are trying to pass a problem, which in future, we know that this problem has to be solved somehow. It has to perpetuate. Both the operators need to survive. Both BSNL as well as Vodafone Idea need to survive, even if they are not able to survive at the same level as Bharti and Reliance Jio. But they need to survive in the interest of the consumers, in the interest of our country, right? So I think this is what I wanted to basically say. I feel extremely, unhappy. Let me tell you this. I have been saying this from the very beginning. Nobody is listening, There is no point in investing in 4G network. BSNL should not invest in 4G network. It's a complete waste of money. It's a complete waste of money. I actually initially what I thought is rather than giving BSNL 700 megahertz, BSNL should have been given 800 megahertz spectrum. I don't know why government of India gave 700 megahertz. It actually creates a lot of problem for Reliance Jio also. Now think Reliance Jio, if suppose 700 megahertz band, we have got 10 megahertz. Reliance Jio have got 10 megahertz of spectrum is 700, right? Now 700 megahertz spectrum, if Reliance Jio wants to expand their network from 10 megahertz to let's say another 10 megahertz, how would they do that? Because this particular block of spectrum 5 megahertz is giving to railways. So they are stuck. Now you may say, oh, Reliance Jio has got 800 megahertz spectrum. They will expand to 800 megahertz and they will combine this 10 megahertz with 800 megahertz 10 megahertz spectrum. That's what you will say, na? This is 10 megahertz spectrum. And they will create a combined 20 megahertz of 5G. That is not the way the technology works. You cannot combine spectrum between bands that is adjacent to each other, because what happens is that you have a common antenna. The RF signal is going to emanate out of the antenna and is going to travel into the electronics. When they travel, you have to separate out these signals using a electronic called a duplexer. And when you do that, there will be loss. Because the combining can only happen in the electronics, in the base station. You cannot combine in the antenna. So there will be a loss of around 2 dB. So when 3 dB is half the coverage, 2 dB will be around 60% loss of coverage, around 45% loss of coverage. So your coverage of both 800 as well as 700 megahertz band will shrink. So what is the point in having two different networks combine and give a 5G coverage? It makes no sense. It becomes so difficult. It is not possible. Today, you are able to combine 3500 megahertz with 800 megahertz because these frequency bands are separated out in time domain. There is a huge difference. There is a huge guard band between these two spectrum blocks. That's why you are able to do it. You can't combine 900 megahertz, 800 megahertz without any loss of coverage. There will be loss of coverage, and this will make these two bands, 800 as well as 700 megahertz, coverage is going to shrink. And the advantage of the low frequency band is going to be lost. So it makes no sense, and Reliance Jio need to expand their coverage in 700 megahertz band, and therefore BSNL should have ideally come out from this band and taken the 800. That should have been the right solution for BSNL. Now, having taken this step, the next ideal solution is that launch 5G here, and then from here you basically go forward rather than wasting your effort in 4G. So friends, I really feel pained, by all this that is going on. I've been saying this, nobody listening. So I thought of putting this video out, and if you want to go into more details, you can look into this article. And there are multiple other articles which I have written. So you can just look at those articles and you can read through and hope that, some sense will prevail, and we will as a country will come up and improve the sector as far as consumer and our overall interest is concerned. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your patient listening, and I really appreciate you have gone through and listened to me as I took you through these challenges. I'll come back to you with the next video next time. Thank you very much.